Hi there and welcome to the February edition of our Fisheries feedback video. Well, of course, we've spent the last 3 months whining and moaning about the weather conditions, but not now. Spring is clearly here. It's been a very, very welcome change in the weather conditions. But that said, despite the floods, despite the cold, as you'll see shortly, our members have caught some pretty spectacular fish over the month of February. So it seems that the bad times are behind us and that everything's come good for those last few days of the coarse fishing season. We've got our usual feedback, features, news, events. Very, very happy to share all of that with you, along with, as I said, some great catches. So it's time now to go over and see what Del and the team have been up to. Del, welcome back. What's it like being a grandfather?
Well, I don't think I look old enough, to be honest.
I think you do.
Yeah, so I'm told. Look, best time of your life, isn't it?
Well, congratulations. I know it was a bit nip and tuck, but it's...
Yeah, it wasn't without its issues. No, she's here now and she'll live the best life she can if I die trying.
Smashing. Right, so things were happening with in your absence, and quite a lot of maintenance been going on. What's been the priorities for you and Jim?
Basically, to be honest, it's been one of those months where we're sort of scratching around. We've got quite a few sort of projects on the go: Cottage Lane, Brownlee, this, that, and the other. But because of the weather, we just don't want to take any machinery anywhere because you end up making more mess than you are trying to clear up. So we've spent a lot of time just sort of like scratching around and sort of trimming swims, removing trees, that sort of stuff, just stuff that is always an issue but gets put on the back burner a little bit, So yeah, lot of chainsaw work and general tidying up.
So tell us a bit more, because we haven't really touched on it in previous videos. Tell us a bit more about the plans for Brownlees. Yeah,
so Brownlee, I think we announced a couple of years ago now that we'd have this major shift round. Due to the popularity of Wilmots, we're finding, particularly in the sort of sunnier months, we're finding people turning up and expecting to get onto Wilmots and they can't get on there. So we need a Wilmots Mark II, so to speak. So the natural place for that to be, because of the work we're doing up at Cottage Lane and it all fits in together, will be that, Brownlee, because it's on the same site, it's close to the calf, you've got the toilet there, etc., etc. It just lends itself ideally to making the Wilmots II. So we've been up there clearing trees and this, that and the other. We've had to open up some channels so we get a bit of a flow through. And we're coming along, like I say, we had a really good couple of weeks up there and we absolutely smashed it. And then, of course, the rains came. And funny enough, we were up there today and we were going great guns again today, this morning, and the rains came. So, we need a little bit of dry weather, week or so of dry weather, and, we're going to be pretty much there with it then. And the plan is that we will pack it full of carp, basically. It won't be to the same sorts of levels as Wilmots, but it'll be somewhere near it. There'll be larger fish in there. And yeah, it's just going to be an alternative for when Wilmots is busy.
Gotcha. Sounds good. And of course, we've got the silverfish fishery coming on at Cottage Lane anyway.
That's it.
We tick that box.
Exactly.
You talked about floods. We did quite a lot of work lobbying West Berkshire to clear these bloody gullies underneath the railway. I think we actually managed to get one of the three of them cleared.
Yes, yeah, eventually.
And so some of the flood water went away, but it was nip and tuck, but we didn't come that close to having this place flooded, did we?
No. I mean, there was a period of time where, we were sort of sweating a little bit because it was very, very close at certain points. But yeah, we got away with it. And it's testament to how important these culverts and what have you are in a functioning floodplain.
Well, we've bored people about this before, but as people will know, the Reading to Basingstoke line goes to the eastern boundary of our site here at Farnham Flint. And of course, it's effectively a barrier. It stops that flood water moving down to the west. And if those culverts are not kept clear, then it backs up onto our land and our premises. So we're lobbying quite hard to make sure the authorities do what they should do. In terms of our fisheries, the only thing that was really hit was Cottage Lane, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think we've got some pictures we can put up of Cottage Lane flooded.
Yeah.
They almost joined together, didn't they?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Cottage Lane is always traditionally flooded. Whenever you get any sort of rain, it always, because it's just such a low-lying bank, particularly the causeway in the middle. Anybody that's been up there will have noted that the bit that we've raised is not flooded. However, the bit that we haven't got round to raising is very flooded. Cottage Lane's work in progress. Again, like I said earlier, you know, we can't get up there with machines the way it is at the moment, but it's in the plans for sort of later on.
But presumably, if we're going to keep discrete stocks in the different lakes, we are going to have to raise the causeway all the way around. Otherwise, our silverfish will end up in the Cart Lake and vice versa.
Yeah, it's
we
always
don't want that.
It's always been the plan to raise that centre sort of causeway. And like I say, last year, when we had some really decent weather, we actually got a fair bit of it done, but then, of course, it started raining and it hasn't seemed to stop.
Well, hopefully it has now.
Yes.
Right, hatchery then. So we're into dace time.
Yes.
It'll be time to collect the roach.
Yep.
How did the dace gathering go?
Yeah. I think it was sort of 70-30 in my favour as opposed to Jim's favour. He got a bit of an education on dace fishing that day.
Yeah, but we're not talking about your ability to catch dace. We're talking about ability to sex them.
We got plenty of fish. We got plenty of eggs. We are having a few issues at the moment, but we will have fish. So yeah, all's well. This is sort of the prelude to the sort of grand finale, which is the chub and the barbel. And as much as anything else, it gets our eye in as much as anything. But yeah, it's been busy. I think I worked on a Sunday. It always seems to be a Sunday when they decide they want to do things. I'm going to have to plan it a little bit better, I think, for next year. But yeah, all's going well.
Smashing. Just to remind people, we're now into the new year in that our season starts on April the 1st. We changed that a couple of years ago, and permanent renewals are now available in all categories, apart from those that are sold out. And just to remind people as well that we can't run our hatchery on thin air. You were incredibly generous last year. I mean, I can't remember how it was over £4,000. I think was raised by Redden District members. There is a form you can fill in at the end of your permit renewal. You can tick a box and make a donation, whether it's a fiver or a tenner or whatever you can afford. It will help the Kennet hatchery go from strength to strength. So please be as generous this year as you were last year.
Yes, that would be very beneficial for the Kennet and its stocks.
Finally, Fisheries Forum. This is our main way of engaging with the membership. Every year we've got report backs from Dell on all the work he's been doing, and Jim and the hatchery. We'll have a voting for the fishing picture of the year that we put up every month, and of course our fish of the year will be awarded, and that's voted online. At the moment, it seems to be looking at the numbers. It's a toss up between Ashley Holmes' Big Chub and Thomas Big Pike. So I'm going to shut the voting down on March the 12th. Give me a chance to get the trophy engraved. So, please, if you're a monthly winner, come to the forum, and particularly Ash and particularly Tommy, make sure you're there, because we've got a trophy and a fantastic prize.
Yeah, and it's well worth winning as well.
Well, it certainly is. And on top of that, I'm delighted that this year's speaker is going to be one of our most successful Kennet anglers, and also a thoroughly nice guy, Nigel McLaughlin. Caught numerous huge fish from all over the place, but particularly chub and barbel from the Kennet. Nigel's going to come along and give a presentation on how he tackles these Kennet monsters, and we're also going to hear from the coaching team and from Steve from the Better Fishing Academy. So everything that's happening in Reading District, be an opportunity for you to have your say and get some feedback. It's also an entertaining night, and
Yeah.
the bar will be open.
Yeah, that's it. Bar will be open, you can have a drink, and you know that sort of burning question that you've been wanting to ask all year, now's the chance.
Smashing. Okay, hope to see you at the forum on March the 16th at 7:30 at the Cricket Club at Bradfield Southend. Coaching and fishing clinics. All the information is out there. We put this on our social media. The posters should be in the tackle shops around the area now. March the 14th and March the 28th, there is introduction to angling, knot tying, rig setup, casting skills. That's taking place at 10 o'clock in the morning at the Cricket Club at Bradfield, so you've got no need to book to that. If you're a newcomer to angling, want to learn the basics, 2 sessions are being run for your benefit. And then on top of that, there's a whole programme advertised going right through from April to September for Redden District coaching sessions. Thoroughly recommend newcomers to attend. Certainly a great way of introducing people to fish, and our little Callows pool works absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, it lends itself perfectly to all of that.
And then for those people wanting to improve their fishing skills, Steve Reed does a great job of running our Better Fishing Academy. We've got the sessions that we ran last year. We're repeating most of them. There's float fishing for carp at Wilmot's starting on April 11th and then goes right the way through lure fishing, specimen tench fishing, carp fishing, stick float fishing, barbel fishing, Thames fishing and pike fishing right the way through until October. So again, information's available. Book yourself on. I don't know anybody that hasn't attended one of the fishing clinics that hasn't come away learning how to be a better angler and how to be more successful.
A lot of our fish of the months are
This is true.
by people that have attended those.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're well worth doing. And sort of leading on to our website, all of these can be booked through our website. Our new all singing,
Oh
all
yes,
dancing
that went
website.
live, didn't it?
It did, yes.
So you've learnt a lot about website design now, have you?
Yeah.
Too much.
Too much, and I've got a lot less hair. I'll tell you what, it's quite incredible the amount of information that is on our website, and it's not until you start, because obviously the website is built by somebody, but then we've got to populate it.
Yeah.
And if I was to tell you it's taken me weeks, I'm not exaggerating. So yeah, there's a hell of a lot of information, and like I say, all these events you can book in via the website. Just follow the tabs to tuitions. You'll even see these videos.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what's nice about the website, Dale, is that it's easy to navigate. It's a couple of clicks to get to where you want. I like the fact you can book on, you don't have to go outside of the website. And it's interactive. You put the news flash at, so if something's happening, we've got an event coming on, on the homepage, tick, 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 a bit like the old teletext.
Yeah,
on the
that's
telly,
it. Yeah. I mean, it's one hell of a lot of information. And, you know, Facebook's great, but people have got to join Facebook and they've got to be savvy with Facebook in order to see it. Whereas with a website, just about anybody can get onto that. And, all the information's there for you.
Well, thanks for all you've done with that. And also a big thanks to Paul Tolman and Mike Ellis for taking some new venue photos for us.
Yes.
We're very fortunate to have members that give up time to do that. So I think the venue descriptions are looking very good. We've even, in response to a question from a member who didn't understand what 3 words were, have put the link to the What 3 Words app.
Yeah.
So if you want to know exactly where to park your car, where the boundaries are on any of our venues, What 3 Words will take you to the nearest 3 metre by 3 metre square on the planet. So
don't just put the words into Google.
That doesn't work.
As somebody did, I'll mention no names, and I think the words were Forest Calls Wild or something like that, and he got onto a fairly dodgy website.
Well,
so you have to put the words into What 3 Words.
Well, imagine if it was Young Russian Dolls. That'd be really dangerous,
I'd hate to think what some of them could be.
Okay, and we move on fairly quickly. So, fishing pictures of the month. We'll run the gurry. Well, Del, Jim barely mentioned catching barbel because it was freezing cold last
Yeah, I was
month.
going to say, did he get it wrong? That's got to be a first.
He sort of got it a bit wrong because
he's like the weather person. He always covers all his bases normally.
Well, that's right. But yeah, we had a hell of a lot of barbel showing. Not particularly monstrous ones, but it's nice to see them. So yeah, right old mixed bag for a pretty lousy month to go fishing, I thought.
Yeah, they've done well. To be fair, they've done well just to be out there.
Well, let's just pick a few to highlight. I mean, I think the first one I'd like to just give a shout out to, as I say on the radio, is our old friend Neil Hedger. Now, Neil is a mustard keen pike angler. Not only is that a lovely picture of a pike, but you know what? He had 5 doubles, I think, in 2 hours.
Certainly hit the honey hole, that's for sure.
From Sonning Eye, which is 380 acres.
Yeah, well, that just goes to show, you know, when the fish are in the area and you can locate them, you can have a great day, and he clearly did. I mean, it's not something that's going to happen every time he goes, I'm sure, but yeah, that's some fishing. It
is, yeah, and you know, congratulations, Neil. I enjoy it when I meet you on the bank, and yeah, you're a cracking angler and a particularly good predator angler. A guy that's making a name for himself in Redmond District is Ashley Holmes.
He is indeed,
son of Mark Holmes, but he's made his name this month for a different reason. That is one of the nicest grayling that we've seen, and I'm sure people only put these pictures up to make you happy, but that's quite a big specimen, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. For all sorts of reasons, that makes me happy.
Yeah. So these are the little babies that you probably put in the river about 4 years ago, yeah?
Yeah, I've probably handled that at some point when it was very, very small. And, you know, going back to the hatchery and, you know, anyone that sort of raises an eyebrow about, you know, the size of the fish that we put in, that grayling there would have gone in at the same sort of size as the barbel and the chub that we're going to be putting in. So it does work.
The other one I was pleased to see was good old George Batsford. Do you remember George 2 years ago won our Fish of the Year?
I think he caught that fairly late on in the year when he caught that. So
£17, wasn't it?
Yeah,
do you remember?
So he obviously only ever comes fishing Redmond District after Christmas.
I don't know.
Perhaps he gets a permit for Christmas. I don't know.
He told me on this one that he went barbel fishing a couple of days before that, and it was lovely and mild and nice and wet, and he had his strong barbel tackle and he blanked. Then he came back when it was freezing cold and fished with lighter chub gear, and of course he hooks his barbel.
Isn't that always the way?
And ran him all over the river. Anyway, well done for that one, George. It was good to see you back. And finally, a strange but nice picture. A nice picture because young Morgan Jones caught a personal best carp, 19-pounder there from Cottage Lane. We're really pleased for you. But Morgan, that's 28th of February you put that picture up and you're swimming in the lake. Don't do this, please.
No, it's look, the excitement has obviously got overwhelmed you, but don't do it. It's against our rules, for one, and it's not particularly bright. Hypothermia is real. So, yeah, well done on the capture. It's cracking fish and perseverance as well. I think you said that you've been blanking for about 6 months, so well done for that. But please don't get in the lake, please.
Yeah. Well, not unless you've got waders on. Okay, well done everybody, and it is your job to select the winner. So which did you think was the best fishing picture of the month?
Well, for me, the best fishing picture is Mike Ellis, and it might have something to do with the fact that he is a photographer, but that's a cracking picture and a cracking barbel by the looks of things, and it's a Thames barbel, which don't come along that often. So well done, Mike. Drop us a message and we'll arrange for you to come and pick up your bait and your tackle and your hat from the hut when you're ready.
Smash him. Well, perhaps Mike will come to the forum. We can see him there.
Well, save me a trip.
Yeah, that'd be good. Well done, Mike. Right, my turn now. Fish of the month. I'm a bit embarrassed about this one, Dale, because up until a few days ago, I would have put a lot of money on Steve Kane, a man who's been pipped at the post at least twice.
Yeah, he's definitely the bridesmaid, isn't he?
Absolutely. 614 chub from the Canal. I thought no one's going to beat that.
No.
There's horrible conditions out there. And then, just before the end of the month, in comes Colin Hawkins, a man that's caught a huge number of big fish from our waters, 7/8 Kennet chub.
Yeah.
So Steve, really sorry, mate. We'll put your picture up now. What a wonderful fish. Beautiful picture. Definitely deserved to win, but I'm afraid, once again, it hasn't. Instead, Colin, this is not going to win any photograph competition, this one, Colin, is it? In fact, I'm going to make sure you have a lesson from some of our better photographers, perhaps Mr. Ellis, because that is a wonderful chub, but it's a horrible picture. But this is not for art, this is for capture. £7.8. Colin Hawkins, you are the winner of the Reading District Fish of the Month for February. Get in touch and we will make sure that you've got your trophy and your £50 Angry Direct voucher. So congratulations, Colin. Once again, for the third time, Steve, commiserations.
Yeah, commiserations, Steve. And keep going, mate. You'll get there at some point and we will make it special when you do.
Okay, so birthday prize draw, a relatively new initiative. We're kindly supported by Fortis and rather nice fishing sunglasses.
Yeah, very nice they are too.
Do you want to just explain how it works, Del?
Yeah, so basically what we do, because we're on Clubmate now, we can filter out everyone that's had a birthday throughout the month of February. They're all on the list there that Martin's got, and I have a random number generator. There was 146 people had a birthday within our membership.
Less productive breeding this month. There was 187 last month.
Yeah. So obviously, sort of May, people are doing other things.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyway, right. So there we go. 1 to 146.
Press the button.
Generate a number 63.
63. The lucky winner is. Cost us a fortune in paper. This.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
63. David Harden. 13th of February. Very good. David, get in touch, and these are yours.
Yes, they'll be in the hut. So drop us a message, email, whatever, and we'll make sure they're in the hut for you to come along and pick up. And happy birthday.
Right. I think it's time for fishing prospects. We'll get Jim to join us.
Yes.
So, Jim, give us your pearls of wisdom for March.
Ooh, well, as this video's gone out sort of early this week, there's probably going to be maybe just under a week of the river season left. So anyone that wants that sort of end of the river season whacker, then jump on it and get yourselves out there. I know the rivers are still up a little bit, but find a nice slack, sit there for the evening, there's a chance for a whacker.
What do you reckon, chub or barbel or both?
Both, I would say, yeah. On the Facebook page this month, it's great to see there's been a sort of nice few chub and a nice good stamp of barbel coming out. So certainly the Kennet's producing and the Thames. So if you've got a few days left, get yourself out there, book a little afternoon off work or something if you want to spend a bit longer. But still, with evenings are drawing out now, we've sort of got light hours till sort of 7 o'clock. So get yourself down there after work. There's fish to be caught.
Well, I had a message the other day from Paul Callow, Dell's opposite number really on the Oxford Aberdeen Alliance. Mm-hmm. He went up on the Upper Thames and he had 6'11 and 6'3.
Oh yeah,
a bit of bread flake. Yeah, and the Thames, I was on the Thames the other day, is starting to look nice. It's got that nice green colour, the flow's dropping.
Yeah, all the edges are sort of starting to drop out. So those fish are they're up at the moment. They're not just sitting right in the edges and chilling out. They're up there. They're looking for some food at the minute. So get yourselves out there, guys. And
there's some lumpy perch been showing, both on the river and on the canal, because they aggregate this time of year as well, don't they?
Yeah, they certainly do. Yeah, they sort of congregate up, especially on these sort of confluent sort of spots we've spoken about before. They can be great areas to go looking at targeting, and for the guys sort of drop shotting and roving around with lure rods on the canals, again, good afternoon's fishing to be had.
And what do you reckon on the still waters? I mean, I tend to leave them alone till sort of end of April, beginning of May, but the carp guys quite like March, don't they?
Yeah, they certainly do. Yes, I definitely say the carp fishing's certainly woken up. I walked around Wilmots this morning. By the time I did a lap around Wilmots, there was probably 20 carp had jumped themselves out. So they've certainly really woken up now. And if they're jumping like mad on Wilmots, then the bigger lakes, they'd have woken up on there as well. I can't say yet that I've seen my first tench roll of the season, but I'm sure it's not going to be too far away.
And of course, Cottage Lane, with your stocking, the Silverfish Lake, there's some decent bream in there to have a go at as well, isn't there?
Yeah, certainly has. Yeah, there's been a couple of guys going down to Cottage Lane and they've been having some, I'm not saying it's going to be great days all the time. You certainly still got to find your fish in there, but if you can get on the sort of shoal of bream down at Cottage Lane, you can have a great afternoon's fishing. Simple tactics, feeder fishing, float fishing, all works.
Okay, well, thanks very much for your advice. And
one more. Yeah, one last thing is the email's gone out about the key change this year. We are actually going to be changing the keys this year, so anyone that renews their permit in the coming weeks, if you're a current member, your key will change, so get yourselves down to Angling Direct, Woodley Tackle Box, or we've got them in the hut here, and also Tadley to pick up a key.
Thanks very much, Jim, and I'll see you at the forum next Monday.
Yep, sounds good.
Well, that's it for another month. Sadly, as I said earlier, only a few days left of the river season before, in my personal view, the ridiculously early closure of March the 14th, but that's a debate for another day. Enjoy what's left of the river season, and with the weather warming up, it won't be long before those tench are on the munch, as Jim has said earlier. Whatever type of fishing you're doing in the next few weeks, I hope you have great sport and tight lines.